Krysis here from Hives Gaming, and today I'll be showing you my Knight build. It's a really tanky build, and I've been getting a really good feedback from players whom I'm playing with. And we'll start with the loadout that I have. Here I'm using the Earthquake instead of the other one. It's just because it pulls enemies toward me. And I think it's really effective, especially in PVE. In PvP, I use it for CCing enemies from following their targets, especially if you're doing the arena, capturing the flag. If they're trying to run after the flag, I can pull them back, so I prevent them from following the target. Here is the Falcon attack. I'm using this one instead of this one, just because if I use this one, I will have to get rid of the Earthquake ability, which I don't want to, so I'm using this one instead. Here is the Resolute rebuff. I use it instead of the Stronghold is because I'm reflecting back damage back. Since I'm really tanky, I need some to deal some damage, right? You don't want to just be super tanky, no damage. This one here will allow you to deal damage by reflecting the damage back to the enemy. Here is the Spear Throw. Everybody will have it. This is a mandatory ability. This one I'm using it instead of the Tantrum. Is because this one will give me more shields. Both of them, they will give you 100% more back mana back, sorry. And but this one will make you deal more damage by 40%. This one will create a shield around you by 15% of your health. That's a lot. So basically, if you use this one in the battlefield in the middle of the, let's say 5 or 6 enemies, I'm talking about PvP enemies, you will be invincible for the period of 15 seconds. I like this one better than this one. If you want to, there's another build I've seen some people playing the Knight in a DPS build. They go with Tantrum. That's okay. You can go as a full DPS, but my build is fully tanky. So how do I deal damage? Is by reflecting the damage back with this one and by using ability and mixing this one here, using a lot of abilities with Barrier 2. I'm reflecting some portion of the damage back to the enemy. So this is how I'm hitting my target basically. Now we'll see. This one here will be a mandatory ability. Everybody will have it. Barrier 2. Why I'm using it instead of Barrier 1? Now, this one is better. Yes, it is better. But why some people might go with Barrier 1 if it's better? Now, I'm going to tell you what's the difference so you know why it's better. Barrier 1 has the same thing, so defensive stance that reduces incoming damage by 25%, but willpower is mana basically. Is recovered at half the usual rate, which is 15% by 50%. Now, Barrier 1 has the same thing, except that Barrier 2 has another thing. Use an ability that consumes mana, make the barrier last 4 seconds longer. So when it says the barrier, that means the effect, which is reflecting damage back. It's gonna say in a second. It absorbs twice as much damage. So instead of 25%, it's gonna absorb 50%. Reflect half of the absorbed damage, so 50% of the damage that dealt to you will be reflected back to the enemy. The amount of reflected damage cannot exceed 12% of the Knight maximum health. Now, if you have a health of 100,000, the damage cannot exceed 12,000, right? But it's an AOE damage, right? And it's really good. I find it's really effective. Where is it now? This one, yeah, sorry, this one. Restores 50% of the Knight maximum health and deals 1,531 to 3,448 damage to nearby enemies. Basically, this is an AOE. It's an ultimate. So before you die, they will give you an option to press space to resurrect yourself again and have a second life, with some AOE damage when you use your wings. So it's like a visual effect that will deal damage. Just one time visual effect. Now you have only 5 seconds to take that option. They will give you 5 seconds to press space. If you pass that 5 seconds, you will never be able to resurrect yourself again, and you're gonna have to start all over. Here's your execution. We're gonna not talk about because you should know what the execution all about by now. The talents. I'm using the Unshakable. This one will make me immune to control effect when I have more than 70% of my health. This one is will increase the barrier duration, the effective the barrier duration by 1 second, and also will make the launch attack, which is this one here. I use it a lot, giving me some mana back, 2 points per time I use it. Now it's really good. I like it. For this one here, reduces the cooldown of rebuff and stronghold for 5 seconds. Now this one is really good ability. In fact, this is one of your main abilities that you're going to be using over and over. So you need to reduce the cooldown of this one. It's really your savior right here. So yeah, I use this one to reduce it by 5 seconds. In here, barrier 1 and barrier 2 absorb 5% more damage, and the knight generates 400% threat. This one is really good in PVE and also in PvP because of the 5% more damage. Why? Because you see here, it's saying 25% that it absorbs. Now it's going to be 30%, and double that once you use a mana ability. That's going to be 60% damage reduction. Now you can also increase that through the temple, which I'm going to talk about in a second. You can increase the shield absorption through some effects in the temple by upgrading stuff in your province. Here, here. Now, since the knight doesn't have a lot of gap closers abilities, so you need to keep the target close to you. Otherwise, they're gonna range the heck out of you. A spear throw, which is this one here, will reduce their speed by 75%. They're almost immobilized. They can't. Yeah, I know that. Excuse me. The duration is 3 seconds, which is not a lot. But think about it. 75%. They're almost immobilized for 3 seconds. You will catch up with these guys. Inflicts 150% more damage if they are more than 10 yards. So it used to be 100%, twice as much damage. Now it's 3 times as much damage. Sorry. Increase impulse damage. This one here will increase your impulse damage. You need to use it to proc something, which is here saying, and restores 10 points of willpower when impulse charge is activated. So every time you use an impulse attack, you will get 10 mana back. So this one here with the launch attack, these gonna be your recharges to get mana back, because this one, yes, it will give you 100% more mana back, but the cooldown is 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's a lot. So you're gonna be using these to keep your mana up. Otherwise, you're gonna run out of mana really fast. Here, I'm using this one because, as I mentioned, you don't have a lot of gap closes, so your execution will not be as frequent. You can't, especially if they're away from you. A lot of range allies will be taking that execution, and as a result, taking the reward for killing that player. So you need this one here to keep the range distance beneficial too. So this one here will increase the damage of the falcon attacks by 30%, and when they have less than 50% health. So this one will be execution if they're far away from you. Here, Battering Ram stuns enemies, so this one here goes with this one. So you need this one for the impulse. Now, if you use this one, the Battering Ram will stun them also, right? And will inflict 120% more damage. So you get if you need to proc your impulse, if you see your impulse is ready to be procced, then you're gonna use the Battering Ram. Don't use this one to proc it. Use this one here. And with that said, let's see what else I can mention. Oh yeah, right here. So you could go with Falconeer Fury. This one will reduce their speed, and it has 30 seconds. This one I find it better because it's an AoE damage for the knight. You don't have that much AoE damage. So this one, beside this one, you don't have a lot of AoE damage. So this one here will keep the enemy attacked by you, and the damage is really not that bad, to be honest with you. So that's why I took this one instead of this one. Why I took Barrier 1 instead of Barrier 1, Barrier 2 instead of Barrier 1, sorry, is because if you go with Barrier 1, you will be fully attacker, so that's gonna be a DPS build because of this attack right here, right? But it's okay. I'm going as a tank build, so I don't really need much damage abilities. Now we go for the samples. I'm using balance, reducing the damage by 6% if you attack more than 3 targets at the same time. Here we'll also reduce the damage by 5%, melee and ranged. Here I'm using the night one. It reduces the control effect by 15%, and if I'm lower than 50% of my health, it's gonna be 30%. Right here is the defense reflect, reduces the damage taken by 10%. I already got 2 of these, so now it's 20%. Every time I'm CCed. Right here, every time you use an impulse charge, goes with these 2 right here, as I mentioned. So if you use this one, it will proc these 2, and also will proc this one. When impulse charge is activated, the character gains a shield that absorbs damage for 3 seconds. This one really important. Now I got 2 of these. The second one was close to the alchemist node in the Atlas, Ascension Atlas. So if you get those 2, you get 6% of your maximum health, which is really good. For now, I'm using this one because I need to unlock the Paladin one. So I went with a critical chance for now. It's not gonna be there forever because I don't really need critical chance. All I need is to be tanky, so I'm gonna go with this one here. Incoming damage is completely absorbed if it's more than 10% of your maximum health, and then it will make you immune to all damage and all negative effects. The problem with this one, it has 70 seconds cooldown, so you gotta make sure that you don't get that 10% damage, right? You wanna be away from hits that it's like that. Now we'll go for the patrons to the provinces. I'm using this one here for now again because I was using my alchemist, but I'm gonna go of course with the block. I need to unlock it. I need more Oki tablets and more rings to unlock the block, but I'm focusing on the other ones first. Right here, I was using accuracy for my alchemist, but now I'm using shield power for this class. Shield power again. Shield power. For endurance here, I kind of screw up because since I'm going for the paladin talent, I don't really need the endurance because it does the same thing. Reduces incoming damage if it exceeds 10% of your maximum health. Now you don't need this one anymore because of the paladin symbol. So I'm gonna go with the adaptation. Don't go for regeneration if you're a knight because you don't have shields that will make you not taking damage for 4 seconds. That's for the paladin or the alchemist if he's using his reflective shield. Here I'm using block for this one here. You can use endurance because there's nothing else you can go with, and since the paladin sample has a 70 seconds cooldown, this one will come in handy by reducing damage by a little bit, by 7.5 if you get it to blue. Almost 10% reduced damage if it exceeds your 10% of your health. Now for this one here, also go for adaptation. I'm waiting for my Oki tablet and my rings to unlock this one, and that way you can have 2 adaptations, this one and this one. You're gonna get rid of this one. You don't need the endurance in this one, and you're gonna have block and shield power. That's how what you need for the knight. Now for the gear, always go with health bonus. If you see health bonus, health bonus, health bonus, always go for health bonus, no matter what it is. Even if you have a better prestige ring, do not go, especially when you start reaching 15,000 prestige, that everything will be so hard. So you better keep track with your stats because you, as a tank, you need to survive. For this one here, I'm going with the Falcon attacks. Falcon attacks. This one because I couldn't find anything else yet, but I'm looking for the Falcon attack for this one here too. Falcon attack. Here has the same thing. Falcon attack and grass cutting inflicts 26% more damage. Here is for the earthquake attack because I haven't seen anything so far that I would like. There's another one that has barrier 1 and barrier 2. Will be absorbing more damage when you're less than 30%, 33% of your health. I would use it, but I haven't gotten it yet, so I'm using this one for now. And I think that's pretty much it. Please let me know what you think about the build in the comment section below. If I get anything, please do let me know. And I think that's it. So this is Keyboard Crisis here from Hives Gaming, and I will see you around.